impossible. Like, doctors literally say this is a 1 in a million thing, and it's unbelievable. Every single star aligned to keep him here. Every single star aligned to keep him alive, and that's what gave me so much motivation, but at the same time got me so incredibly paralyzed. So if we're talking about bad years, I would say 2024 has been a pretty damn challenging year for me. Like, 2023 was absolutely amazing. It was an absolute highlight reel, especially the first part of the year where I lived in Bali for over 4 months. I had the most amazing time. I was scaling my business, I was doing incredible stuff, going to villa parties, hosting our own events, going to dinners, doing cool shit, constantly meeting cool people, living in an amazing villa together with my best friends. I had the most amazing time. But unfortunately, at one point, all this partying, this being up late till 3 a.m, all of this stuff was too much. It just was too much, and I remember I came out of the steam room and I lost my vision in my left eye for a bit. Well, not really that shocking, because later that night and the next day it was already somewhat good, but at the same time I kept hitting the ball with paddle, and I knew that there was something off. I couldn't focus on my business anymore. It was getting more and more annoying, so I went home to get everything checked, and fun fact, they couldn't find anything, and it's 1.5 years later now. I've got 2 MRIs and I still haven't found anything, so I suppose it's kind of good now, which is something to be blessed for. But for the first 3 months after I left Bali, it was absolutely horrendous. Like, I couldn't drive, I couldn't work, I couldn't do anything for longer than 10 minutes, and my head would just completely tense up. It would completely, like, I don't know how to describe it, my whole left side would tense up and everything. And the same thing happened, for example, when I was in a deep conversation with someone, or when I was trying to record a video, which I absolutely love. Like, I am an extroverted person, I get energy from talking to the camera. This is like therapy for me. Not being able to do that was absolutely horrendous. But then 2024 came, the first month of the year, and I was almost out of savings. I had no money left, so I had to do something once more. And I used my last money to go to Monaco to visit a friend of us there who was playing in like a luxury club, with the hopes of just shooting some cool content, meeting some cool people. And guess what? We did exactly that. We shot amazing content, like the vlog that you can see here that got 14k views. We shot that there while I was on a budget of less than 1k. It was absolutely terrible. But after I came back, I got into this black hole, and I realized that my issues were quite deeper than not having money. My issues were deeper than the health issues that I was facing. My issues were actually quite mental. And I mean, I tried to get my way out of it. Like, I started selling probably the best Notion template that I've ever seen. You can see it here. If you still want it, I can send it over. I still have it. It's like 30, 40 templates in one, and it's all created by me. They all work perfectly. I still use it. But somehow I wasn't able to get it sold. So I decided, you know what? I've learned so much about, Instagram, about networking, about dating, about all of these things over the last few years, because I always was quite introverted, and I transformed myself into the extrovert that I am now. Simply by going out there and there's a lot of stuff that goes about that. I'm definitely going to share more of that later. But main point is, I created something called Project Main Character, which was absolutely fucking amazing, which was a course community around networking, dating, Instagram, all of these things. But I couldn't get myself really to do it, because for me it was like, okay, I just want to help people on a scale. I want to do this almost for free, for cheap, like just a school community, going on calls, but people were just telling me like, no, you can't sell low tickets when you have a small audience, no, you have to do coaching, blah blah blah. And then I made a coaching program, but for me it just felt wrong, and I couldn't get the finger on the place. And then later that month, something happened in my personal space that completely shook me over again, because my dad almost died, and he's completely fine now. Like, it's almost a miracle. It's fucking insane. And I will tell that story later, for sure, because it's one of the things that will have the biggest impact on my life. But after that happened, even though he was back, I had so much motivation to change my life for the better, because I've been fucking about for like over a year back then. I don't know, I just was so afraid to do things wrong, and I was so determined to make the right choices. I was so determined to go right that I basically didn't do anything. So I quit the coaching program that I was doing, and I was like, I've always wanted to have a travel agency. Let me plan trips for others and let me do that. And I did that for a little bit, but I didn't like doing that. I love traveling, but just planning it for other people. My strengths are actually just shooting content. My strength is to go out there. My strength is to plan my own trips. My strength is to be myself and have others come towards me. Not planning trips for others, not organization, not making reservations. I'm not organized at all. And yes, I might know a lot about the world, but yeah, I kept doing that. I kept planning trips for clients, and they were all these young rich people, most of them doing 7 figures plus, and I was asking way too little. I remember my first client, I asked like $50 per day or something, got me a 350 euro invoice that I literally had to spend 20 hours for. And I was in a fucking mountain hut when he called that there was something wrong with this Airbnb and I had to fix that and this and that. Bro paid $350 and I was in a mountain hut and I had to fucking reply, okay? That's the level that we were at, you know? But yeah, I kept doing that a little bit and people actually loved it. Kept getting WhatsApp messages at least every week one. So it sustained me for a bit, you know? It sustained me for a little bit, but it wasn't making me good money. You know, the potential is there. You know, once I have something planned out for a client, the way like the places that I like, venues that I like, all of that stuff for our city, it becomes quite easy to replicate that because the first one for Puglia, let's say in Italy, might take 15 hours for me to get everything done. Second trip could take me maximum 2 hours because the only thing I have to do is check when everything is available and make the puzzle, and that's it because I've already got everything figured out. So the potential to scale was there. The more I would do it, the more I was able to ask and everything, but something was off. And this has been going on probably till Christmas that I kept doing this, with New Year's Eve being obviously a period where a lot of people went abroad. So I had a client in Vienna, I had a client in London right now, who's still there right now, and he's having the best trip. Cool guy, rich guy, going there with his girlfriend. He has the most amazing time there, but there is still something off. Let's say 2 weeks ago, everything was at its lowest of the year.
You know, you're just working so hard. Doesn't seem to be paying off at all. Zero money, still stuck here. So many hours spent into this. Don't want to let them go to waste. But I feel like even if it doesn't go to waste, it might still be a reality that I don't like. It might still be a business that I don't like at all. I thought it terrified me.
I was making a travel guide for Sydney for a client, and I just realized this guy's going there with his girlfriend and I'm just stuck here making a travel guide for peanuts. And I spent so much time. I remember I spent 3-4 hours for that. And then there was another client that's going to Japan, and as much as I like the guy, he's only paying $350 as well, way too low from like the starting point in September where I asked way too little. And I had to work for the client on the day before Christmas Eve, literally. My parents had to wait with food, wait with dinner, because I had to fix shit for the client because he kept spamming me because I promised him something and he wanted to show it to his mom. And like an entrepreneur, the only thing that I could do was do it anyway, do the work anyway, because your reputation is everything, and if you promise something, you better do it. That's what something I truly stand for. But these two things broke me. Like this was me that night, you know, like it's not good. And I already went to see a psychologist for a bit, but more than that, I needed a period of reflection. I needed a period where I could just sit with my thoughts, where I could just be offline for a bit, ignore all the people messaging me, and actually think, okay, what is actually like holding me back? Be true with myself. Is this my path? Is this what I'm supposed to do? Are we doing things right? And clearly I haven't been doing things right this year because I kept sabotaging myself. I kept holding myself back, and I was like, why is that? So on Christmas Day, I went to the church for the first time in over 2 years, because what happened with my dad was almost a miracle. Like, there's barely any ways around it. He was literally dead for 2 minutes and I was next to him and everything, but he survived and he has nothing now, which is just crazy because of like random circumstances. And okay, let me tell you anyway. A very short story, my dad had a heart attack at home and I was going for a run, you know, then my little sister called like, yo, there's something with dad, so I had to run there. I ran home and the door was open and my mom was already there and my dad was on the ground and they were all panicking and stuff, and I somehow just felt completely relaxed. And I remember I was telling my mom like, give me that telephone, like we need some relaxation now. And you know, we tried to do some CPR, but luckily, because in the Netherlands we've got this system where when you call 911 and you say it's about CPR, people immediately get beeped up, like in the area who've got like the CPR certificate, and there's quite a lot of people in the Netherlands who've got that. So very early, before I had to do some serious CPR and stuff, there was like a nurse that came in that was literally obsessed with CPR because his granny died because of it, because he wasn't able to do it back in the days. And then I remember I told everyone to go outside, and I was just there with the guy helping, and some other people came, and there was another guy that came in who had like a shocking device at home, like an old one that he used back when he was a practitioner, because like there are definitely shocking devices out here like in public places, but if you would have to get them, like that's too late. And it was also at Sunday night, so everyone was at home, but still it was incredibly close. And I remember I was there, I was sitting next to him, and my dad was basically, it's like he's dad, you know, it's like everything is cold, but I was just in my mind, there was nothing in my mind that was like, okay, this is it, nothing, zero. And at one point, I believe they had to shock him like 5 or 6 times. At one point, the ambulance came and they had, you know, everything happened, and at one point they were like, yeah, it won't be needed to do any more shocks. This is not needed. This won't be effective. But I was just like, okay, keep going. And I was super full of adrenaline, obviously, but also relaxed at the same time. And somehow the last shock that wasn't supposed to work worked, and when you feel that and his hand is like cold and everything is cold, and it as much as I want to say it didn't do me anything, it did do me something. it did do me something. And I mean, you literally feel nothing. It's like it's dead. There's nothing. It's empty. There's no breathing. There's nothing. And then people are saying like there's no risk. There's no risk. There's no everything. But like I said, there was nothing. Not a single part of me that was feeling like this was not going to be alright. And I kept saying it. It's alright. It's alright. And when he was stretchered out, I remember I was above him and I told him like, okay, Dad, you've had a heart attack, but you're going to the hospital and everything is going to be alright. And it's funny because even though he shouldn't be remembering that, because he was unconscious, and yes, his heart did kind of work, but it was still crucial. Everything was still very critical. He was asking me like, is it possible that I saw you above me, telling me that I was going to hospital? It's the only thing he remembered from everything. While he was unconscious, he saw me. He saw my curls. He was like, yeah, it had to be you. I saw your blue eyes and your curls, and I was like, that's impossible. You know, that's literally that shouldn't be possible. I was like, yes, I was there the whole time, and like the next day, everything was almost okay again. Yes, the doctor said it's critical, but you could see like he was making jokes about the nurses and everything was already becoming alright. If that makes sense. And I remember every single time that we went there, because I was there for a week, like me and my family, like we just brought so much positive energy, like me and my siblings. I'm so fucking blessed with them, and I realized that there, like everyone was just, you know, sad, and because like it's a hospital, it's a nursing thing, like everyone is sad, everyone is in pain. But when we entered, we literally talked to random patients, we talked to random like nurses, especially me and my little brother. I don't know, we've got this. Somehow we just kept on lighting up that room with my dad. He was walking there and the whole room was laughing with us, and it was actually more of a positive experience in that sense. But it's still like the fact that there's literally no permanent damage after being dead for like 2 minutes. It's impossible. Like doctors literally say this is a 1 in a million thing, and it's unbelievable. Every single star aligned to keep him here. Every single star aligned to keep him alive, and that's what gave me so much motivation, but at the same time got me so incredibly paralyzed, because I know how much pain I've done him by quitting studies 4 times, and the only time when it was seemingly going well, my own body decided to quit with it, and now I was again trying random shit without it actually working. But as much as I tried to do things right, it wasn't the fuck it thing that I hoped it would give me, but it was rather, like I said, a complete paralysis. It was a complete paralysis because the only thing I wanted was to prove him right as much as possible, and he was following me in every social media, so I wouldn't want to post stuff that things weren't going right, and I didn't want to show him that things weren't going right, and the only thing I wanted was to succeed. And it led to me charging way too little in order for them to say yes. It led to me to be afraid to post because I was like, this is not my right path, and at one point I just wasn't caring about anything anymore. I was like, it's not meaningful enough. And this brings me to the core element of the video. So I'm sorry for taking 50 minutes to get here, but I just wanted to get this off my chest to give you like a complete image of what I've done this year, of what I've experienced. So back to topic, I was in the church on Christmas morning, and that evening I had a realization that can potentially, like I said, change your life, and will change my life definitely. And let me illustrate this with a little story, because about 1.5 weeks ago, I was in a rooftop bar with some guys that I got together during my business club that I was creating in the Netherlands in my area. And downstairs at that hotel, there is a piano, and I'm able to play very decently piano. I wasn't realizing it. I started doing that a few years ago for a little bit whilst in lockdown, because we had a piano at home and I never really played, and I can't read notes anymore and all that stuff. But there's this one caveat. I can't read notes. I just randomly play what comes up in my brain. I just play it. That night, there were like almost 10 people watching, like middle-aged women, and I remember I had to play for like 30 minutes because they kept wanting more, and they kept wanting me to play, and some of them were crying and everything. They literally went to a classical concert the night before, and they were like, this is better. And for me, that was mind-blowing, because for me, it's the easiest thing ever. I'm just playing and it sounds good. Like this is how I play piano, it's just randomly. The funny thing is, if you would have taught me to get lessons, I would not nearly be as good as what I am now. And a fun fact, I can't play classical songs now because I didn't have the lessons. I can't play like songs perfectly. I don't care about that. I just want to play them my way. Like I listen to a song and then I repeat it in my way. And that produces absolute magic. That produces actual art that makes people cry, apparently. That makes people emotional. And that same thing, if you think about it, same thing happened, for example, when I was in sales back like a few years ago. When I was in an internship agency and I remember I sold more than the 3 others combined. And why was that? Because I was able to do it my way. Because this was the first employer, the first business where I was able to do things my way. Where they were like, okay, they saw from the first moment that I had a boss that believed in me and my unique skills. And he was like, yeah, just, you've got an innate talent for people to trust you immediately. For people to make people trust you. To get something out of people done. Even though you genuinely have the best intentions with that, which is amazing, you can abuse that incredibly for sales. And I did that. I was not using scripts at all. I was just talking to people and I was able to do insane stuff sales-wise. And same thing happens, for example, people always say how much they love my content, how much they love the way like I take pictures of them. And for me, it just feels natural. I don't know why my pictures are good. If you look at the pictures and you dissect them, you see some photography rules and stuff. But if I were to have learned these rules, I wouldn't be able to shoot good content. The same thing, my friends constantly FaceTime me like, yo, should I do a video like this? Well, what looks good? Because I have this taste, apparently. It just comes from the heart. It just comes naturally. The same thing goes for millions of these things. Like, it's when I write, if you tell me how to write an essay, if I have to do it according to a certain structure, it gets me, firstly, it allows me to produce shitty work, because during this internship that I was doing, I also had to do like a research paper about TikTok, because I was implementing TikTok at that company, and I got TikTok to like multiple thousands followers, amazing stuff at the time, but the essay was literally like regarded as shit. It wasn't according to the rules, and it literally had me book a ticket to Mexico, a one-way ticket, without telling my parents, because I was so depressed because of having to do things in a way that wasn't my way. And in fact, if you just tell me like, okay, write an essay, do it your way, I will write the most beautiful, perfect essay. Same thing with a video like this. If you tell me like, yo, follow this script, I will go completely wrong because I will try to do things perfectly. But if you just tell me like, yo, just tell us a video about a subject, maybe include these 3 elements, okay, perfectly fine. I will just yap. There's no pauses, like there's barely any edits in here. I'm just literally yapping and this is it. I remember that when I was in Belgrade during an event in May earlier this year, when everyone was talking about how much they had to script their videos, and I was just like yapping in the camera. That's just me. I don't have to think about it. I just get into a flow state and I get this done. And examples like these are everywhere. And I don't know if this is the same for you or if this is just me, but the realization that I made is like, when I am able to do things my way, when I am doing things my way, I produce art that changes lives. I produce stuff that is incredibly good. But once I try to do things in a way that others tell me to do, which I have tried to do with business for literally 4 or 5 years, copying others, doing things, constantly asking others for how to do stuff, asking others for advice, oh, does this look good, should I use this, should I do that? It led to absolutely nothing. It's just not working. And why is it not working? The reason that I want to go into entrepreneurship, the reason why I love content so much in general, is that you're able to do things your way, and then the people will come to you, the people that like that stuff. You produce amazing work and the people will come. And I know most business people will say like, yeah, pick a problem for a certain ICP with money, for example, and fix that problem with one solution, one problem. But that kills your soul. That kills my soul. You're gonna be so screwed if you get rich, but you're making money of doing something that you hate. That means you're completely ruining your life. You're missing the point of living. Like, you should live life in a way that's aligned with a purpose. Your work should be purposeful. Your work should be meaningful. You should be doing something where you are able to do things your way. That's how you produce art. That's how you produce magic. Something that you deeply care about. Something that you get across in a manner that people be like, yo, this is amazing. Yo, I want to buy this. Yo, I want to be part of this. You're only alive once. You should do something that aligns with your purpose on a deeper level. You should do something where you care about so much that you are able to go through the hardship. Why would you not immediately go for G, let's say? Let's say you have all these steps, A till G. Why wouldn't you just go for G instantly if that is what you want? Like, if you go for that thing you want instantly, you will also figure out the steps how to fucking get there. Like, I'll give you an example. The reason that I was doing trips first was to get cash flow in order to host trips myself. Because what I realized is that my strength is in being me. My strength is in by being me, shooting cool content, connecting people, creating something cool, and getting people there. Like literally, creating something cool, creating content, other people will want to join there. That's what I care about with that. Connecting cool people, young ambitious people around the globe. Not dickheads, not online money guys, not the guys in the white trousers smoking cigars and just going to my bay. I know people that actually want to connect on a deeper level, that want to do cool shit together, that want to have deep talks together, but on a non-status level way, that don't care about status, that care about doing cool shit, that care about actually generating as much data and unclore as they possibly can. That I love the fact that you have a diversity in there, that don't judge someone for only making 10k per month as a diplomat because they are making 100k per month with their SaaS. Bro, I don't care about you making 100k per month with your SaaS. I would much rather talk with a guy who's living in the woods in Norway for like a year, or like a mountaineer, or someone who's like actually doing something with their life. I don't care about your little SaaS business. It's cool if you're a cool person and you're doing cool shit with that, yes, but if it's your whole personality to make money, fuck you, I don't want to be with you. And that's a realization that I made, because all of my clients were like that. All of my clients were like these guys that are all about the money, and I'm not at all. Like, it's a tool. It's a tool, and you gotta make more. You gotta make a lot of it in order to actually experience everything that there is to experience, which is one of the other things that I learned that I want to get to you in a second. You have to do something that you care about, and so do I. Even though that might not seem like the best solution in the short term, even though your brain might be telling you out of it, even though everyone around you who you tell the story, who you tell your ideas might talk you out of it, you gotta do that thing that makes your heart actually burn. You gotta do that thing that puts your soul on fire, that makes you go like, oh my god, this is amazing, I can't stop working on this, I wanna spread the word out of this with the whole world. That's the vibe that it should be giving you. You should be pursuing that, not that thing that you think is smart in order to be able to do the thing what you want later down the line. Do that thing what you want right now. There is no time to waste. You could be gone tomorrow. Why are you so arrogant thinking that you have it tomorrow? You only have now. And that's why I want you to ask yourself this question. If you were to die tomorrow, what are the 3 things that you would regret the most? That's the most important question that you will ever ask yourself. Like for me, when I had to ask myself this question, because what happened with that, and the answers for me were not money. The answers for me in my situation were making an impact, sharing everything that's on my mind, because I genuinely believe that my impact can change the world and my thoughts can change the world. I want to make the world a better place. Like, I care about making people more positive towards each other. I care about spreading love. I care about being a force for good rather than all of this greed and hate and all of these negative emotions. I feel almost enlightened about that, and I want to share that with you. And imagine if I wouldn't be doing that simply because I would fear like, oh, but my clients wouldn't follow me. Oh, my god, that would be such a disservice to myself. And knowing that is the reason why I'm sharing this shit now. Secondly, for me, is creating a beautiful family with beautiful children and having an amazing community of friends around me. All successful, and that we can actually be a force for good together with a strong family. Just being a force together with my wife, we can do anything with my girlfriend, with my wife, and having like 4 beautiful children. I already know the names that I want to give them, and that's what I care about. And thirdly, it's about experiencing everything there is to experience in the world. All the things on my bucket list. Ticking everything off, doing as much cool shit as possible, and also making sure that I document that in a way that's engaging. Epic vlogs and epic documentaries, that we're gonna go climb Matterhorn together with some cool guys, and that we vlog it, that we have so much that lore to show our kids later down the line, to inspire others. But not just inspire others, but also make sure that they have the tools to succeed by making videos like this. Because too many online money guys, they think they're inspiring someone, whilst at the same time, instead of inspiring someone, they are actually making them fucking want to kill themselves. These online money kids that are flexing their Ferraris, that are flexing all of their rental cars, doesn't really matter. They make you believe that it's easy to get there. They make you believe that it's easy. They make you believe that you're worthless for not getting there, that you're stupid for not earning 10k per month. But you're not. Let me tell you that. And there is no way to be sad about that. These fuckers are making money of you, and they're pretending to be inspiring you by just sharing their lifestyle. Bro, you're just making people depressed. I want you to lose your entire money until you realize that you should use this money for the good. To actually help people, not just flex with your content. Flexing is amazing, and it's inspiring, as long as you also show people how you did it. As long as you actually give people the idea that they can do it then well, and you don't tell bad about them because they're not where they want to be yet. And that brings me to the last point of this video, because we have covered, you have to do things your way in order to create the best possible art. You have to commit to the thing that puts your heart on fire. That's the thing you have to do. And that brings me to the second point, which is all about committing. You have to start, you have to commit, you can't wait. If you wait, you give others a chance to steal your ideas, because your ideas, you might think that they are in your mind, but they're probably being put in other people's minds as well. And if you don't do it now, other people will steal your ideas. That will happen. But most importantly, it generates momentum. Speed and momentum are the most important things. You have to start now. You have to start now, because if you start now, you can make mistakes, you learn. You make mistakes, you learn, rather than just staying in your head and thinking your way out, because you can't predict the future. As much as you think you can think your way out and make business plans, and you can think with like 3-month plans, 1-month plans, and this is what we're gonna do, this this is the vision, blah, 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 blah. Goals is stupid because you can't, it's out of your reach. The only thing that you can control is what you're doing now based off your vision, of your grand vision of life. That's the only thing that you can do. So it's good to have a vision. It's not good to have goals. For like 5-year goals, 20-year goals, this is where I want to be. Imagine how boring life would be if you would know every single step along the way. That would be so sad. Like, you wouldn't even want to live a life like that. It's not worth living. It's in the journey where all the fun is. It's about creating your own path, because if every single step of the path is laid out in front of you and you know exactly where to step your foot every single time, there's no fun in the path. It's not your path. There's no fun in a life where you know every single step along the way. And that's why I'm telling you, you have to have this vision, commit to the thing that puts your heart on fire, that puts your soul on fire, that makes you wake up every single morning feeling energized, and then pursue that every single day. That's your path. That's your vision. Stop asking others for advice constantly and just do things your way. One thing I would recommend you do, get a picture of yourself when you were younger. It's actually a nice thumbnail, so let me put a picture of yourself when you were younger as a kid on your background or your wallpaper of your phone. Every time you open your phone, you see your own eyes, you see your own yourself as a kid. It's all about making that one proud. It's about making that kid proud. It's true dreams. That's your mission, that's your vision, that's what you should pursue. And that's the reason why I decided to make this video. That's the reason why I want you to watch this video, and why I urge everyone to watch this video. That's the reason why I went offline for a bit. That's the reason why I'm changing my whole approach to my business. Because you will be infinitely happier and more successful if you do things your way. And it will also make the hardship so much easier, because if you do it for nothing, if you just do it for money, you won't be able to go through the hard times, or you will be super depressed. That's the reason why there's so many billionaires who are unhappy, because they're not pursuing what they would really care about. They would probably be much happier if they were just broke and literally living off a small salary, let's say doing mountain hikes for a guiding company or something. Like 2 years ago, I was in Mexico, and there is Lake Bacala, and Lake Bacala is a beautiful lake, and there were two guys where we booked a tour, like a sunrise kayak tour or something. One of the best memories of my life. These guys were amazing. This guy hosting it, incredible guy. He was supplying us with like breakfast in the lagoon, and it's such a good memory. But this guy was a lawyer, successful in Mexico City. He was making good money, but he wasn't liking it at all. He was depressed, so he literally went to a base salary, started his own company with a friend. They're happier than ever. And I'm not saying that you should do that, but I'm just saying that you're true with yourself about what you genuinely are, what you genuinely care about, what genuinely motivates you. If you genuinely just want to bang chicks and that's what you really want to do, be honest about it with yourself. Be like, okay, yeah, if that motivates me, just let me go to Stockholm or Eastern Europe, or like, I don't know what you want to do, focus on that. But please be honest with yourself about what you genuinely want. Don't think that what society tells you should pursue is something that you should pursue. Don't just pursue money at the cost of your life. And I know that you're going to be watching this back, I'm going to be watching this back 10 years from now when I'm blown up, because I can see this happening. I will be going around the world with a videographer following me, just like Luke Belmont, just like Iman Gatsi, but being a force for good. Having my own project main character back again, but in a different fashion. And I'm also going to have my own podcast called Main Character Mondays, where I'm going to be hosting incredible podcasts with incredible guests that are doing things their way. Think about Max Verstappen, think about Nick Kyrgios, think about Donald Trump, think about these kind of guests. And at the same time, I'm going to be scaling my travel agency to the point where we are literally doing a bucket list trip every 2 months. And at the same time, in between, I'll be living in amazing cities and places and villas and stays around the world, together with other people from my network. We're also going to be building our concierge and planning service. Membership is going to make money. We're going to be making a ton of money from travel guys, but this could be a 9-figure exit. But only if I do it my way, because it will be hard, it will be difficult, and the only way to pursue it, the only way to get through it, is by doing things my way. And that's what I'm going to be doing. So yeah, let me see where we are 10 years from now, 5 years from now, if we're looking back at this. And that's going to be my message for 2024. These are my lessons. This is going to be my thesis. Do it your way, or you might as well die. Thanks for listening to this thesis. If there's anything in your mind, please share it. And honestly, I'm pretty curious what people are going to say about this 5 years from now, maybe even a year from now, that I'm watching this back and I realize that I was right all along at my 24th. I'll make this one proud.